a dying Earth, a jungle moon, and a soldier caught between two worlds. In the year 2154, humans came to Pandora not to explore, but to strip it of its most valuable asset, Unobtanium. What they didn't expect was resistance. We're taking you through the full plot of Avatar, the biggest movie of all time. From the moment Jake Sully lands on Pandora to the final battle at the Tree of Souls, we'll explain who the Navi are, what the Avatar program was really for, and how one human's journey reshaped the fate of two species. Let's dive in. Act 1. A distant hope for humanity. Earth is dying. Climate disasters, overpopulation, and decades of resource exploitation have left it polluted and overcrowded. Energy is limited. Survival is the only priority. What's left of civilization is controlled by giant corporations. The biggest is the Resources Development Administration, or RDA, and it's looking beyond Earth to find what it needs. In the Alpha Centauri system, the RDA finds Pandora, a moon that orbits a massive gas planet called Polyphemus. From space, Pandora looks beautiful. It's covered in green jungle and glows at night with bioluminescent plants and animals. But the RDA isn't there for the view. They're after unobtainium, a rare and powerful mineral worth $20 million per kilo. The largest deposit lies deep beneath the jungle, right under the land of the Navi. The Navi are Pandora's native people. They're around 10 feet tall, with blue skin and long limbs, and they're fast and strong. They live closely with nature and believe all life is connected by a force called Awa, a living energy that flows through everything on Pandora. The RDA doesn't want a war. Not yet. So they create the Avatar program. Scientists grow Navi-human hybrid bodies that can be operated remotely by human minds. These avatars let humans move around Pandora and interact with the Navi, either to make peace or prepare for conflict. Enter Jake Sully. Jake is a former Marine. He's paralyzed from the waist down without enough money for surgery that would fix him. On top of this, his twin brother Tom was a scientist trained to join the Avatar program, but he was killed just before the program could begin. So Jake is down and out, with little to live for, rolling himself around the filthy streets of a soulless and polluted megacity. But Jake receives an unexpected opportunity. Because the avatars are matched to DNA, Jake is the only one who can take his brother's place. Jake has no science background. He knows nothing about Pandora or the Navi, but he accepts the mission. The deal is simple: follow orders, complete the work, and get paid. Being able to walk again, even if only through an avatar body, is more than he could ever have hoped for. After just under 6 years in cryo-sleep aboard the ISV Venture Star, Jake arrives on Pandora. The gravity is weaker than Earth's. The air is toxic to humans. The jungle glows with strange lights. Some animals can sense electrical signals. Plants react when touched. Even the mountains float, held up by magnetic forces. Pandora is beautiful, but dangerous. The RDA's main base is called Hell's Gate, a secure compound surrounded by a 2-mile buffer zone. Everything outside the fence is considered deadly by the humans, the animals, the environment, and the Navi. Jake's assignment? Gain the trust of the Omaticaya, one of the most powerful Navi clans, and report back. Act 2. Welcome to Pandora. Pandora isn't just a jungle, it's alive. Every plant, animal, and glowing fungus is connected through a massive biological network, like a planetary brain. While Jake trains under Dr. Grace Augustine, the lead scientist of the Avatar program, he's also approached by Colonel Miles Quaritch, head of RDA security. Quaritch gives him a deal: gather information on the Navi, and he'll make sure Jake gets surgery to walk again. But the mission doesn't go as expected. On Jake's first trip outside the base, a Thanator attacks the team. He gets separated and has to survive overnight on his own. As night falls, he's saved by Neytiri, a skilled hunter from the Omaticaya clan. She's angry at him for disrupting the balance of the forest, until something unexpected happens. Glowing seeds, a tokarina, sacred to the Navi, land on Jake. To Neytiri, this is a clear sign from Awa, their spiritual force. Jake might have a purpose here. Neytiri takes Jake to her people, leading him to Home Tree, the towering structure where the Omaticaya live. The Omaticaya are cautious, but their spiritual leader Moat tells Neytiri to teach him their ways. Jake begins to train. He learns how to hunt with a bow, ride a dire horse, and prepare for the Iknamaya, a test where a Navi must bond with a dangerous flying banshee, called an Ikran. Jake passes the test. He succeeds. And this time, it's not part of a military assignment or simulation. It's real. Over time, he keeps logging reports, which Quaritch monitors closely, even as he continues his scientific work with grace. But as his time with the Omaticaya continues, Jake starts to change. He's growing attached to Pandora, to its people, and to Neytiri. The RDA doesn't care. They just want access to the land. What Jake's learning is that Pandora isn't just full of life. It has its own intelligence. Everything on the moon, from trees to animals to roots, is part of a huge electrochemical network. Grace believes it has more neural connections than the human brain. The Navi don't simply worship it, they live within it. He trains with Neytiri every day. He learns the Navi language, their beliefs, and their songs. Jake bonds with a Pali, a dire horse, using Tsahelu, a neural connection formed through a long braid. It's not just riding, it's a shared connection of thought and instinct, a sacred link. The Navi use this bond not just with animals, but with trees, each other, and Awa. Jake's military instincts hold him back initially, but he slowly adapts. He starts to feel the world around him, the flow of life, the rhythms of the forest. And Jake starts to forget his original mission. He continues to send updates to the RDA, but he's no longer just pretending to be Navi. He's becoming one of them. Jake keeps working with Grace at her remote field lab, alongside scientists Norm Spellman and Max Patel. Grace never wanted Jake on the team. She preferred his brother Tom, who was a trained scientist. But Jake is trying to prove himself. But the RDA is growing impatient. They want access to the Unobtanium buried beneath Home Tree. Jake will soon have to decide where his loyalty lies, with the people who sent him, or the ones who saved him. Act 3. Jake's deception revealed. The time Jake spends with the Omaticaya changes him. He stops acting like an outsider and starts living like one of them. He hunts with the warriors, learns their language, tells stories with the children, and adapts to their way of life. What once felt strange now feels like home. His bond with Neytiri grows stronger. It becomes more than training. They trust each other. They respect each other, and something deeper begins to form between them. But Jake keeps sending reports to Colonel Quaritch. He shares details about Navi camp locations, details on Home Tree, and notes on where the Unobtanium lies. Every report pushes the RDA closer to an attack, and Jake knows it. Then, everything changes. Jake passes the final test. He completes the Navi rites of passage and is accepted as a full member of the Omaticaya. That night, under the glowing branches of the Tree of Voices, he and Neytiri choose each other as mates. Among the Navi, that means they are bonded for life. The next morning, the sound of helicopters fills the sky. A large fleet of RDA gunships arrives. Quaritch isn't waiting anymore. He gives a direct order. Tell the Navi to leave now. Jake and Grace beg for more time. They still believe they can reach a peaceful solution. But the RDA doesn't want peace. They want the Unobtanium under Home Tree, and they're ready to take it by force. In his avatar body, Jake rushes to warn the Omaticaya. He pleads with Atukan, Neytiri's father and the clan leader, to evacuate. Then he makes his confession. He was sent by the humans to spy on them. Neytiri is furious and heartbroken. Moat disconnects Jake from his avatar body. He and Grace are taken prisoner. Their avatars collapse to the ground, lifeless. Back at Hell's Gate, Jake and Grace wake up in their human forms and are arrested. Quaritch prepares the attack, and the destruction begins. Gunships open fire. Navi arrows bounce off metal armor. Atukan is killed. And then Home Tree, the center of their home and culture, falls in a wave of fire and rubble. From his cell, Jake watches the destruction on a monitor. He's powerless to stop it. Everything he built with the Omaticaya is gone. But not for long. Trudy Chacon defects, helping Jake, Grace, and Norm escape. She flies them deep into the jungle to the Tree of Souls, the Navi's most sacred place. Jake then disappears into the mountains. There, high above the forest, flies the Toruk, a massive red predator feared by all Navi. Only 5 riders in history have ever bonded with one. To do so is to become Toruk Makto, a leader, a symbol of unity. Jake jumps from the sky and lands on the Toruk's back, forming a bond with the creature. When he returns to the Omaticaya, they are stunned. The man they thought betrayed them now rides the most feared beast on Pandora. He offers to lead their fight, and the Omaticaya accept. Jake sends out the call to other clans. From the mountains, the sea, and the plains, Navi warriors arrive one after another. They're done hiding. The clans will stand together, because the humans aren't just targeting Home Tree. Act 4. The Battle for the Tree of Souls. The forest gets ready for war. Under Jake, now Toruk Makto, the Navi clans unite.
Groups that once hunted separately now fly together. Banshees fill the skies, riders on dire horses prepare their bows.
The jungle falls silent, like Pandora is waiting. Jake, now fully accepted as a warrior, leads the defense of the Tree of Souls, the most sacred site on Pandora. Its roots are part of the moon's neural network. For the Navi, it's not just a place, it's memory, ancestry, and spiritual home. And it's next on the RDA's list. Back at Hell's Gate, Colonel Quaritch prepares what he calls a preemptive strike. His order is simple: destroy the Tree of Souls, break the Navi, stop the resistance from spreading. The weapon is the Dragon, a giant aerial bomber loaded with fuel-air explosives designed to wipe out everything in a wide radius. Not targeted strikes, total destruction. Jake turns to Awa.
At the Tree of Souls, he connects to the network through Tsahelu, the sacred bond.
Neytiri and the Omaticaya join him. Together, they ask Awa not for victory, but for protection, for life itself to fight back. And then, they wait. The RDA attack force lifts off. Hundreds of soldiers, gunships, AMP suits. Their plan is overwhelming force. They expect the Navi to be crushed. But as they approach the valley, the Navi strike first. Banshees dive from the sky. Arrows hit cockpits.
Jake leads from above on the back of the Toruk, bow in hand.
The RDA fights back. Missiles explode through the forest. AMP suits stomp through trees, using heavy weapons and flamethrowers. Trudy's gunship is shot down mid-flight. But then, Pandora itself fights back. Nature, animal, plant, and earth, pushes back against the invaders.
Massive hammerhead titanotheres charge the RDA lines, smashing through machines. Packs of viper wolves attack from the underbrush. Even a Thanator, the predator that once hunted Jake, joins the fight, tearing through steel and soldiers.
In the chaos, Jake sees his chance. He targets the Dragon, the bomber carrying the explosives. He lands on it mid-flight, fighting to bring it down. But Quaritch has spotted Jake's real body, lying exposed in the jungle in its mobile link pod. He breaks off from the battle, landing in his AMP suit, heading straight for Jake's human form. Neytiri races on foot to protect him, but Quaritch reaches the pod first. He smashes the window, and toxic air fills the chamber. Jake starts to suffocate. Just before Quaritch can strike the final blow, Neytiri appears. She fires her last 2 arrows, piercing the AMP suit's canopy and striking Quaritch in the chest. He collapses. Neytiri opens the pod and places an air mask on Jake's face. He gasps for air.
For the first time, she sees his human form, small and vulnerable. Not the warrior, not the avatar, but the man she chose.
The battle is over. But for Jake Sully, the story isn't over yet. Act 5. A new beginning. The RDA is defeated and expelled. Only a handful of humans, scientists, and allies of the Navi are allowed to stay. The rest are shipped back to Earth. Jake makes his final choice. With the help of the Tree of Souls, he permanently transfers his consciousness into his avatar body. As his human form fades, his new eyes open. Jake Sully is no longer a visitor. He is Navi. Aftermath. The conflict is far from over. The humans will return. The forest clans will rise again. The reef people will join the fight. And from the fire will come something far more dangerous. But that's a story for another time. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Avatar, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We'll be covering every new detail, every trailer drop, and every lore reveal as Avatar 3 Fire and Ash approaches. Stay tuned and stay one step ahead in the fight for Pandora.